everybody. I'm your friendly neighborhood director of secondary English language arts from the Office of Instruction at the Oklahoma State Department of Education, Josh Flores, and I have a special guest here. We're going to collaborate today on one of my favorite topics. Please introduce yourself.
I'm Jane Potter, and I work here at the Oklahoma Public School Resource Center.
Hi, I'm Carol Kelly. I'm even more friendly, and I'm the Director of Teaching and Learning at the Oklahoma Public School Resource Center. We're glad you're here.
And we are going to collaborate, and we're going to use one of my favorite apps to collaborate, Evernote. Like, it is my second brain, essentially. What are your working relationship with Evernote? Are you beginners? Would you say you're expert levels?
I am definitely a beginner.
And I am a little further than her, but not much.
So I use Evernote for every aspect of my life, whether it's being a director at the State Department, whether it was being a teacher, but I also use it for other personal things like being a husband and being a father. Evernote can be as simple as you want it to be, or it can be as complex as you want it to be. And we're going to talk about two aspects for Evernote use in the classroom that are going to totally change everything you do. You're going to be able to teach more, learn more, and do more, and hopefully enjoy more of your life. Despite technology being great, I have a stylus, and I paid way too much for this stylus, and I like using it on an iPad and taking notes on iPad or computers. But still, you'll often see me with a notebook, the old school notebook with paper, never runs out of battery life. That's still one of my favorite ways to take notes, but how do I take those notes and keep them somewhere safe? How do I take those notes and make them more collaborative if I wanted to share with my partners? Well, that's where Evernote comes in. I have some notes on Evernote that I want to share with you. So let me snapshot them with my Evernote app on my phone.
Let's pause for a second to really understand what's happening here. You're watching my cell phone screen as I use Evernote to scan pictures of my old-fashioned written notes. They will be saved into an Evernote note file that I'm going to share with Jean and Carol. And once shared, they can save a copy or we can edit it together depending on what I give them permission to do with the file. If you want to access the same notes, just follow the link bit.ly/my Evernote notes, all one word, all lowercase. It's actually strongly recommended for the next parts of this module that you do pull up those notes and follow along, but it's not required. It's also not required to have an Evernote account to view the notes, but if you really want to collaborate more effectively, I'll explain in this next part.
You can share it with people who don't have an Evernote account, but if you really want to take in and enjoy the full collaborative effects of Evernote, it's better that they have their own Evernote account set up. And you're going to have them share their email address that's associated with the account to receive your notes. So I'm going to send it now.
So now I get to see the notes that Josh just took from his notebook, but now I have them on my iPad.
Okay, so now you have a copy of my notes, so I can walk you through a discussion about it. So, first page is what? You see there's a whole list of things you can do with Evernote, from very simple things, simple tasks, and very complex things. You can set to-do lists, like I have my grocery list on here, or just random things that I might not want to forget when I get to work, or when you get to your classroom, you don't want to forget to set something up like you got to put your standards objective on the board because that's important. And you might want to put a reminder to set so your phone buzzes and lets you know, and you can set those reminders on your iPad, on your computer, and then your phone will remind you. You don't have to just work from one device because it's talking to every device that you have Evernote. We become so cluttered with keeping track of our iPad, keeping track of our laptop, keeping track of our cell phone, and Evernote's on everything.
Even works on a BlackBerry.
Or a BlackBerry. She's got a BlackBerry. I haven't seen a BlackBerry in forever. You like your BlackBerry?
Love it, but it's going out. I can't get apps for it, so we're probably getting a new one.
But at least Evernote's an app for it. I mean, it's really all you need. That's the other aspect of being a teacher. You have so much to keep up with, and now you have to keep up with an app for everything, but Evernote does all these different things, as you can see on the list of that first page of notes that I shared with you. So that's what it is, but why would you want to use it? So we all know, as you can see from page 2 in my notes, these are just some of the things that teachers juggle with on a daily basis. Communication, whether it be with other teachers, whether it be with their students, whether it be with their students' parents or administrators. That's a lot of people to communicate to, and you gotta keep track of all that, whether it's incoming communications or outgoing communications. Also resources. One of the beautiful things about being a teacher now is that there's so many free resources on the internet, but it's also hard to keep track of. This is one way to really collect all of those. That way you don't have that problem of having a favorites bar that when you open it, it goes all the way down to the bottom of your screen. You know what I'm talking about, right? And then of course grades, which, you know, some people, their grades are important. You gotta keep track of them. Somebody wants to look at them. Lessons, whether it's lessons that someone's handing down to you that you wanna, or lessons that you wanna create with other teachers. And of course just scheduling. Who knows how many spirit days are in a single month, but you gotta keep track of all those and plan accordingly. So you wanna have that on the schedule. And oftentimes what we don't want to happen is for important stuff like your personal life to fall to the wayside as you're constantly juggling just a few of these aspects of being a teacher. We're going to use Evernote to eventually organize all these aspects of being a teacher, but we got to know how to organize them, and so we got to understand how Evernote is structured. Evernote has many notes, and those notes can be put into notebooks, and those notebooks can be put into stacks. Notes to notebooks to stacks. You can have a notebook for each student, and you can have a note for every single student's assignment, or you can have a notebook for big units. You can then have a note assigned to specific students, and then of course you can have stacks of notebooks representing class periods. So now what goes into a note? There's another thing that I love about Evernote. Almost anything goes into a note.
Pause. I want to note how important it is to understand the structure of Evernote, as it is with any new skill or technology you want to master. Also, you may want to see actual screenshots of Evernote, not just my wonderfully hand-drawn notes. But keep this in mind. Apps and computer programs can have a different look and feel depending on the device you're using to run them. Also, developers will update the look and feel of an app over time. Just think about how different Windows 95 looks compared to Windows 8 or whatever number we're up to now. However, the basic structure remains the same. If you know Evernote is composed of your notes organized into notebooks, and that can be organized into stacks, you have enough of an understanding of the structure to start exploring and using Evernote on your preferred device, whether it is a smartphone, tablet, or laptop. On the screen, you're looking at my Evernote files on my MacBook Air laptop. Notice the variety of content that can be included into a note. Texts, lists, pictures, audio recording, and all that's editable. And you can program reminders into the note and set up a date and time to return to it. Great for finishing those deadlines. So, why would I want to use this when I already use Google Drive? It's a matter of personal preference, I suppose. I use Google Drive when composing documents I'm going to share in a presentation or turn into a polished report. I use Evernote to compile all the research and materials I'll need to finish that report. Plus, I think Evernote just works more seamless on tablets and smartphones than the Google Drive apps. Okay, back to the show.
But eventually, you're gonna be able to take stacks of notebooks like this, and instead of taking this home every night to grade, you just have to go to this. The first thing we wanna do is talk about how to get more out of professional development using Evernote. I know personal experience for me was going to my very first NCT